Salutations! Welcome to my own brothers. I was saying that and I was actually thinking, I don't know if I remember it.
As it's coming out, you're finishing it right.
I was like, oh, I hope I say it right.
I don't remember if you ever said BrotherS.
Yeah,
Did you do the
show?
Oh yeah, then I used to always go with you. Because it's the spin-off of my own brother.
The lighting isn't good.
It's fine.
It's kind of dark. I think this is going to look very grainy like we shot it on 16 millimeter
That's
film.
Cool.
Yeah, but not like an
this is
underexposed
artistic podcast.
Unintentionally underexposed. I'll tell you what, I'm hungry. I realize that now after you started cooking food.
Yeah, I'm hungry again already. I wanted to make another one.
Those potatoes. I've been living off potatoes.
Oh yeah, why don't you tell everyone what you ate today?
Yeah, first.
And then why don't we tell them what you ate yesterday?
No,
Wait until you hear his great meals that he eats.
Let's talk about it. Because that's today's episode.
If we were going to talk about it.
The theme, I decided, is joy.
Oh, you weren't joyous eating that lunch yesterday. And based on what I heard you ate today, it wasn't very joyous.
That's not going to be something I include in today's episode.
But if you're talking about joy, you're talking about getting joy or the denial of joy.
Things that bring you joy.
If it's joy that's subject, then we can talk about all the joy you don't have too.
That's not
still
joy.
But it's in the joy topic.
No, it's not. That's like saying space is in the topic of water.
No, you could talk about food and hunger in the same episode because you are hungry for food. You could talk about painting.
Joy.
You could talk.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you right now. The smell.
So you're talking about getting joy.
Blueberry muffins baking in the oven.
Yeah.
That's a joy for me.
And what joy for me is not eating what you ate for lunch yesterday and today.
Maybe. But no, I want to explore the things that bring us joy in our life.
Pancakes are a big joy for me. It's my favorite food.
Stand over the oven, like if I'm baking or if Mom is baking, and I literally go to like my lungs full capacity, and I feel euphoria.
Euphoria.
And I smell like things like eating pizza.
Well, food is like one of the greatest pleasures.
I talked about this once in an episode, like the joy of scent. But like I was thinking about blueberry muffins, and then like when you cut it in half and you put like butter or whatever on it,
yeah,
and like just seeing it on the plate in that butter dish.
Oh, blueberry muffin cut in half, grilled. I still do this to this day because Mom did it, and Mom did it with the bagels. I remember when I was sick, when you first start getting better, like that day you're like you can start eating solid food again.
That's a joy.
Not being sick is a joy.
When you wake up, you feel like, oh, I'm starting to get better.
When she would make a bagel and she would grill it on the pan instead of toasting it, I was like, this is unbelievable. I never eat any bagels or muffins toasted ever anymore. They do it at diners like that too. It's the greatest. A grilled piece of bread is so much better. Bagels are the best that way. But I know this is going to turn into, you're saying you're talking about joy. All it's going to do is expose all the joy you don't have, and you're going to talk about the things you wish you were doing what you can't do.
This episode.
Like you say, the greatest joy is smelling the food that I can't afford to eat, but I go and smell other people's food.
When I'm making something in the oven, when I'm baking it. Like when I was reading that book,
remember the other day when you said sometimes I just go and I sniff things just to get the flavor and the idea because I know what it tastes like, but I can't go and get the food at the restaurant.
I don't particularly remember, but
you've said it 100 times.
Levels of enjoyment, and the first is the smell.
Yes.
When it comes to food.
So we're talking about.
Then the sight.
Are we talking about?
Then the taste.
What level of joy are we talking about? All levels.
Anything. You know, I was also just thinking.
Negative levels are a level too.
You just said something about food, and I was going to say something else. I don't remember now.
Well,
a joy.
I could talk about pancakes all day.
School clothes. I have a joy.
Oh yeah, because you want to get school clothes.
Getting school clothes.
I love getting school. I did buy one new shirt. Well, it's not from 1950 off Etsy the other day.
Oh, you did?
That was my back to school clothes. I have to at least every year buy one piece of fabric.
Like a pocket t-shirt?
No, it's just that like Henley shirt. It's like 4 buttons. It's from a military. It's some like 1950 military guy's shirt, and it's just an undershirt. You know, it's just like a long underwear type shirt.
Oh.
But it has 4 buttons right here, and it's super itchy because it's wool. Yeah. It's wool and cotton, but it fits and looks really good.
We get stuff, and I'm like, this thing looks super cool. You put it on, it's so uncomfortable. Like
and also it looks good in the photo, but then when you put it on and it comes down to your ankles because it's a real long underwear shirt. It's supposed to be tucked in under your layers. I was thinking, I gotta cut this and just hem it because it's too long.
You may have noticed that Nathan and I smell fresh and clean because we both took showers before this episode.
Did you guys notice how good we smell?
Nathan also smells.
Do you smell it?
Of course I smell it.
Yeah.
I introduced you to it.
I didn't know, because I can't smell it right now.
Also, I'm wearing a scent of my own. One found only in the farthest reaches of the English coast.
Oh! One found only in the reaches of the farthest reaches of the English coast. It's not very far if you're in England, though.
If you're in London, you have to travel all out
That's
there.
a quick grasp. What is the scent you are wearing? Is it bringing you joy?
Unnamed. I don't know how to...
Unnamed.
I don't even know what it is called. It's just Vial of Beauty.
Vial of Beauty. Why? Because it's a vial filled with beautiful smells?
Yeah.
You named it Vial of Beauty? You should make your own perfume and sell it called Vial of Beauty.
Well...
And made by this guy, and it shows the guy who made it.
Then you might be...
I have a Vial of Beauty from England, too. My London lover gave it to me. Remember? The gray one? I could go grab it right now. That gray, it looks like a piece of concrete. The perfume case or whatever. It's like a men's cologne. I got it from you-know-who during Christmas when we were there. It was that big gray one.
The concrete one?
But Helen, I think, gave it to me.
I gave that to you because Helen gave it to me. Because her friend gave it to her.
I thought it was from my London lover.
That Comme des Garçons thing?
I can go look at it. It's like the weird shape.
It looks like concrete.
Yeah, it looks like concrete.
Yeah, I think the name of it is Concrete.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's why.
That was from Helen's friend, and Helen didn't like the smell. And then Helen's like, "Do you want this?" I said, "Oh, maybe Nathan will wear it." I gave it Nathan.
I like it.
It was not from your London lover.
But I was with her at the time when I received it, so I decide it came from her.
Well, hopefully also you guys can't hear this fan too much.
I don't think they'll be able to hear that.
Studio.
There's a quiet fan in the room.
You know, it's funny. It's been cold for night after night lately. Like, 62. And then tonight it's like muggy and warm. And now we're here in pants in the freaking...
It is fall, though. We're like 5 days into autumn.
Another thing of joy that I have is remembering our Christmas trip of joy last year and taking walks on that
Where I
beach
got my concrete from my London lover.
in France. And we sat down to a tasty nut roast that Helen made for me and Michelle.
I will say, literally the greatest Christmas I've had in my adult life. When we went to Portland the first year,
and we had candlelit dinner
a couple years ago.
too. I love candlelit dinner.
That's
another thing from my youth. I think that
I feel bad.
Nostalgicize over.
I feel bad saying this because, like, obviously I like the Christmases from when we were kids with mom and dad and everything back in Massachusetts. But like when we started going to Portland past 5 years, I've had so much fun doing that. We went 3 times in a row, I think. What's 3? 3 is this 3 or this 3? And then we went to London last year. Went to France with Yale, stayed with them, and then went to London. That whole trip last year was hands down one of the best Christmases I've had in my adult life mainly because of Seth's girlfriend Helen made such good vegan food.
Yeah, that was
I was sitting there just savoring. I was like this. I was like this. I just want this in my mouth all the time.
It was fun because we had like all those kind of English games, and she did like the potato.
Helen is the greatest people in the world. She had all these games prepared. You pass these, you do these British games. You wear the crowns. You play games.
That's like a Welsh thing.
You're sitting at dinner playing. It was the most wholesome, legitimate, fun thing with no electronic devices involved I've ever done. It was like it was candles, food, and just people and playing games.
We took a lot of photos that Christmas.
We did.
too.
Well, we took film photos, so at least it wasn't an iPhone or whatever. It was
I call that a picture.
It's a photo.
I call an iPhone a picture.
Oh, that's a picture. Yeah,
with film,
that makes sense.
Photo.
Yeah, it's like a pic. They
I
would
don't think you
even
can
say.
take a photo with an iPhone.
Well, because a photo doesn't that short
I
for?
thought photograph meant film.
I think it might. A photo. I don't know if it just means the act of capturing an image or if it means film captured image. I think it might just mean capturing. Because that would mean a painting is a photo too.
A painting is a painting.
Yeah. Well, either way. That was one of the best Christmas. I want to go back there. I don't know if what's going to happen with Corona. I don't think we're going to be able to go anywhere. But I am sad with nostalgia thinking about that Christmas ended. I didn't want it to end. It was so much fun.
I'm looking forward to like getting my school clothes and wearing like my warm coat. And I'm probably going to get a new pair of jeans because these are falling apart. I found some. Well, this is not a joy, but just
you should get the Wranglers.
Sears is closed.
Sears is closed, everyone. No more solid jeans on for a bargain.
You can.
You should just get Wranglers on Etsy like I do.
I don't like
Wranglers are the better jean Since Lee and Levi changed their jeans. Also, do you know this? Lee is not Levi's.
Yeah, I certainly did.
For my whole life until like earlier this year, I thought.
I think maybe when I was like 14 or something, I didn't know.
You might have been the one that told me this. I always thought there was Levi's, right? And then they started their sub company called
You might be
Lee. I'm a lot louder than you are.
Yeah. Hey.
That's going to be annoying for you to equalize.
God, you are peaking.
You want to pause?
Just push it away a little bit.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Now
That's
you're
better.
much quieter, but maybe like...
La, 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 la. Well, good luck with
I
that.
probably need to have mine closer.
This is going to be a nightmare for you.
Well, at least it'll be clean. I'm not going to do anything about it. You get what you get.
This is my own brother, everyone. Low production value. It looks like there should be good production value. This lens that you're shooting on alone. It's because I'm a loud guy. I don't know.
I don't know how to change the level of the input.
This is why making a podcast is a nightmare. By the way, if you don't know, I have my own podcast that I should plug. It's called Grave Stories. It's only found on podcast places. Spotify, iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Anchor. And Grave Stories. Look it up.
And with that, we have to cut the commercial break. The producer just told me.
Oh, right, beefy burgers.
Tell him, Scarecrow, tell him.
Who made them? Oh, this lasagna's right Italian.
Tell him.
Who made it?
Just one thing, farmer. They don't contain no meat.
No meat? Oh, no, not for me.
You won't be wanting this tasty country pie then.
Oh, who made it?
Linda McCartney!
Linda McCartney Frozen Foods. My healthy no-meat recipes. My meat-eating friends.
Welcome back. That was a nice short commercial break.
I love the commercial breaks.
I'm sure.
I implemented commercial breaks into my own podcast as well. Grave Stories. I have audio commercial breaks from like Halloween things because it's a spooky podcast where I read real life ghost stories.
You know what another joy of mine is?
Listening to my podcast?
Sitting on the top floor of a double-decker bus when I'm in London.
Yeah.
And on the front left, because they drive on the left.
Because it feels like because you're out there, you have no.
Because there's a big window in the
you're
front.
You're exposed on all
ends.
ends.
In the front seat.
Yeah.
And the mirror is big, open glass. And as you go down the road, they ride pretty close to the curb, and the trees grow.
Yeah.
Like on the edge of the road. And so when you drive, it feels like you're like gonna hit the trees.
Yeah.
And I have such joy when I sit up in those top seats with Helen. She's like, "Hey, you want to go up top?" And I feel like she's like
treating you like a child. Do you want to go up top?
And I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like a kid. I always want to go up top. And sometimes she'd be like, I don't want to go up top. I'm like, come on, I really want to go. She's like, okay, fine. And like, it honestly feels like a mother. But anyway, it's like,
do you think there's anything that she does like that in her life where she's like, do you say to her, oh, do you want to do this? Because I know you like it.
Maybe knitting.
Because that's just funny. Every girlfriend I've ever had, there was always something I was pumped and excited about. Like, oh, let's go do this. Let's do this.
Embroidery.
But the girlfriend I've always had never has been like, oh, let's do this thing. Or I want to put my hand in the pudding. Or I want to like little joys and weird things.
Everyone has to have joys. Helen likes.
Siobhan's joys were like being left alone and quiet. That's my old girlfriend Siobhan.
Time, I think, for sure. Especially from a guy like me.
But like, she doesn't ever want to go do a wheelie, huh?
I can't answer that question, and she's going to be ashamed that I don't know well enough how to answer that question. But
if she wants, I know she doesn't want to do a wheelie on a dirt bike.
No, I mean it's hard to answer someone's joys.
Yeah, well, she likes like cooking and.
I mean, I know what she likes,
things.
but I don't know how to say like this particular thing of sitting on the top floor of the bus for me. Like,
it's hard to get those things into your brain on a quick question like that.
I don't know of her though. I couldn't necessarily answer what your joys were either.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you right now. I'd have to think for a minute to think of some of those things those little nuanced things that you like.
Earlier too. Well, the idea.
So you're talking about simple pleasures this episode.
Just anything that brings you joy. It can be anything.
You know what I like? Can I tell you a simple pleasure? I just thought of one of the sort of like very unique things I like that brings me joy.
This was this episode's for.
I discovered it this year. I don't know if anyone else has this, but it comes into play when I do this certain thing every week or at certain times. It could be whenever. But when I take the recycling out in the trash and I put it on the street. I often, or when I go out to do anything at my car or whatever, I often just don't wear, shoes. And then my feet, I don't like thinking about what dirt is on my bare feet. And then I'm walking around the house, and if I get on the couch, or if I get in my bed or something later, I don't want the street oil on there. So I'll often now, after I take the trash out, I do it a lot when I do that. Specifically, I put my feet in my sink, and I rinse them off, and I scrub them a little bit, mostly just with water. And then I dry them off mostly, but then I'm wearing pants like this, and when I'm walking through the house with still some water on the skin, it's colder, but specifically on my ankles and my feet, when I walk, it feels so refreshing. I just like to walk around. I kind of wish that my feet could always have a little bit of like wetness, not from sweat or something, but like it just feels so
it creates a coolness
clean.
From the air blowing over the air.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you take a shower and you lay down in front of a ceiling fan or something naked.
After I take a shower, I get in front of the fan.
I do that sometimes
and I just kind of turn around because it feels like you can feel getting out all like the armpits and the butt.
To me, it feels like you're clean, and now this is sealing the cleanliness with more cleanliness.
Polish.
Because if you rub the towel on, your towel could be a little dirty. It's also an aggressive thing to rub your skin, but to have it be blown dry.
What I love in the summer.
You're the cleanest you can be.
Going outside like naked. And just waiting 5 minutes in the sun and you dry, just like the sun.
Oh yeah.
Like I like
Air
that
dry.
just because it's like nicer than using.
You also like being naked too.
Another joy was being in Greece with Helen, and I'll tell you a secret.
Oh, don't tell anyone else.
This is a sinner's treat.
A sinner's treat.
I was talking all week about. I kept singing. There's a hunger inside you from the Snickers commercial.
I was just saying that Snickers commercial. I was just saying
it
it.
To Helen, like that one, She's like, "What is a Snickers?"
She doesn't even know what Snickers is.
Then she's like, "Oh, a marathon bar. They call it marathon."
Yeah.
And so finally, she showed me the marathon commercials, and I showed her like the Snickers commercials, and I was just craving a Snickers. And I went with her to the market one day, and I bought a Snickers.
Oh.
And I ate that sucker in Greece, and it was a joy. And I was like, this is like so
Eating junk
nostalgic
is a joy.
for me to like eat this because there's milk in it or something. Just there's milk chocolate.
That is a sinner's treat. You had milk.
Don't tell anybody.
I know another one of your sinner's treats. We probably talked about it on here. I think we did on the cereal episode where we ate cereal. Seth loves Fruit Loops. That's one of his sinner's treats. And when I was on this Disney show, I would take home, the craft services had a bunch of those little boxes, like I always call them camping boxes.
Yeah.
Because we would take them camping.
A little mini cereal.
But you could get them in school or wherever. Some people just ate those.
Single serving.
Some people would get the single serving ones at home, which is so weird to me.
Yeah, it is
it's like, just get the regular box. But some people would do that. I remember going to my friends' houses and they would have those.
Like have a different one every day. Maybe.
Yeah, they just do one box and that's it. But I would get a bunch of those for Cheffid and take them home. And the first time I did it was for your birthday.
That was a joy.
And so now I always associate fruit. Anytime I see Fruit Loops, I think of you now. Every time I go to the grocery store on my lonely man errands.
I love to sniff the Fruit Loops.
Because it smells really good.
It smells really good.
Fruit Loops, I think, is one of the most scented cereals.
It smells like youth too.
Yeah, because you're associated with that.
When I eat them,
Apple Jacks do that too. Apple Jacks has a similar smell.
Sometimes when I eat them, I eat like the blue and then the red.
Oh, really?
And the
Is there you know what's weird to me? Is there even a difference in the flavors?
You can taste it. It's not like super strong.
Well, I'll say this. People often say that about Skittles. Oh, I can't eat this flavor. I cannot really tell the difference between any Skittle.
I can tell the difference. It's just that they're not like...
It's all just a bunch of overwhelming sugar.
If you eat that lime one, you tasted it first, and then if you eat the purple one...
I would have to sit down with a Skittle and like really process it and chew it and savor it like a wine sniffer.
Yeah.
And then rinse my mouth out, try to remember the flavor, try another one. I'd have to really work on this.
Your palate.
Yeah, I'd have to cleanse that palate. I just wouldn't. I've never tasted a difference in Skittles because often I just dump them all in my mouth. And the flavor of Skittles is the culmination of all of them.
Mix them up.
Same thing with Starburst. People are like, oh, I can't eat the whatever Starburst. It's all just overwhelming sugar.
I don't know why. I do like to separate like that stuff too, like organize the colors. Like
that's an OCD thing. I do that too, where I'll line them up.
Yeah.
We had a stack of them on the counter.
Although it is kind of fun to sort of like design something with them too.
Yeah.
To like create a mural or something.
Well, the flavors
or mosaic.
They're all the same to me. There's no difference.
I'm trying to think of what other things bring me joy.
Yeah, now you got me thinking.
You know what brought me joy was watching Whisper of the Heart.
What's that?
the other night.
The show on the movie that they show on.
Miyazaki wrote it.
Oh.
But the other guy directed it. I don't remember.
Is
his
it anime?
name. Yeah.
Huh.
I think he died. That director.
When was this, an 80s movie?
It was in '95. He died in like '98. I was like, oh. Wow.
Oh, that's sad.
He was the guy who they hoped would like sort of take over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's a
can't remember his
bummer.
name now though. But anyway, I watched that movie, and like those movies just are so joyful and happy.
Yeah. Those are some of the best movies I've ever seen.
And it's weird because like the one I'm writing
Kiki's
now,
Delivery Service, I love that movie.
Yeah, that one's a joyful movie. A lot of his movies are, because they always come around like with like a life lesson or something. And, like the one I watched, Whisper of the Heart, had a part in it that was very like much close to what one of the things is I'm writing on that movie I hope to shoot in England.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh my god! But it, like at the first you kind of think like, oh no, is it going to be the same thing? But it wasn't the same thing. But it also was nice because it thought, okay, this is a concept that people will relate to, and like it's something worth making a film with.
Did you check the time?
But that we still got a little time.
Do you have any inventions that are joy related? Something that brings someone joy?
I have some.
Didn't you say you had an invention for the next time we did an episode?
I do, but I think I was like saving it. I can't remember it right.
Paul said he has an invention. Paul wants to come on again and tell his invention.
Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna save it for then.
Oh wow.
If we do that. But I don't remember. I have to look them up. They're written down. What was I saying? Oh yeah, watching that movie though like made me feel really good. So that was nice. I will say like one of the things too that is most like joyful for me is like when I'm like in a creative frenzy. Like I'm not thinking about being creative.
Yeah,
I'm not
you just
questioning myself. I'm just like buried in this thing. I'm writing pages after page after, or if I'm like, even if I'm shooting something, you're not thinking about it, but you feel like you're just in it. Like that definitely brings me to joy. But that's like a creative.
I've had to say that to myself out loud. Oh, not out loud, but like in my head. My happiest moments on this planet and in this life have been, I could go back to them and count them, when I'm filming something that I really like and I'm on a set and I'm saying the lines. That moment that I'm doing the action or picking up the prop or saying the dialogue. I did it on Neutral a couple times.
I feel like too, it's not so much you need to be like it happens to me like after the fact. Like I'll be like, oh, I felt so good when I was writing today, or I felt so good when we were filming.
Yeah.
Because then afterward, because if you're thinking about it in the moment too much,
well,
kind of like
so what happened on Neutral is oh gosh, this is gonna sound horrible. This thing is just falling apart. On Neutral, we did a bunch of takes, and then we were resetting, we were turning the car around, and I was thinking, I'm so happy right now. I'm having so much fun. Yeah. And then I said during the next take in my head, as I was saying the line, I said, this right here is the happiest I will ever be in my entire life right now. Like for sure. Unless I marry someone that like makes my brain melt or something, like which I don't really think is ever gonna happen. I just absolutely love acting and performing in something that I care about, and I've never been more joyous in my entire life. But then as soon as the record button is stopped, and then you're driving home, I'm just like, dang, it's so fleeting. Because if for an actor or whatever, for a painter, you could just be painting all day. You could put paint on everything. Paint everything. You
need to feel inspiration.
But if you have the inspiration to do it, you could do it more often. But for an actor, it's like I can only perform so much in that level and in that category of a thing that I want to make. Like I could technically be performing right now or on a live stream.
Hold your thought, because
but
the producer says
a piece of art is where I'm the happiest making and acting.
We'll be right back.
Can anything stop the animal? The animal. It's a big, powerful 4x4. But when the going gets tough, it bares its claws to climb over anything that gets in its way. The animal. The animal. Can anything stop the animal? The animal. The animal. Clawing its way to the top. The animal. Each sold separately. Batteries not included. New from Galoob.
Welcome back. We were cut off. The producer had no patience, and it's time for a commercial.
I was ranting and going on about my only love of acting.
Remember the rest of what you were saying?
I don't have to go on anymore, but I think they get it. I just am the happiest when I'm in the moment of acting. And there are times where I'll be doing a scene, and I'll be holding something or my hands on something, and I will push my hand harder on the table or whatever to try to really remember the feeling of what that edge did in my hand, so then I can associate that feeling and remember this moment better.
Yeah.
I think pull it up in my head easier. Other than that, I'm like pretty happy.
I get joy when I first smell Helen.
When I first
Because
smell her.
so far in between when I see her that when I smell her every time, I'm like, oh yeah, her smell.
It must feel like, wow, it's been so long since I've smelled my girlfriend.
I felt the joy when I first met her too, and then I hugged her, and she felt like soft and warm. That was a joy.
Yeah, that's a joy. Love is a weird thing. It's like the one it's not an emotion. I was watching or reading something about love and what it is and like why. I mean, I think other animals have it too, but like what? Yeah. I think it's a defense mechanism to keep you together, to protect each other. You know what I mean? To keep you alive.
Yeah, survival.
I think it's like connected to that. And that's where it comes from, because it's not like a sense where it's like taste or feeling or whatever, or hearing or seeing or sniffing. It's like all the senses put together. Yeah. It's almost like when the Power Rangers go together and they make the big Power Ranger man, Mech Warrior.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what love is. It's a Mech Warrior to defend you with.
I was thinking, you know what I love too is when you open up your tent. You have a camping tent. Yeah. You smell that tent nylon smell.
Yeah. Do you also love shaking out all the sand that no one else shook out last time they went camping, and you gotta be the guy that does it?
No.
I don't like that either.
But I smelled that tent smell when I went to Joshua Tree, and I was like, I'm looking for. I want to go to Yosemite.
You know what else is a pleasure?
Smell the pine trees.
You just made me think of. Oh man, I've been craving nature so bad lately. I just want to lay in a big thing of mud, and just lay in the mud and feel dirt covering me. Remember, and feel nature.
Saying that for a while, like probably 5 years ago or something. I said I miss dirt.
Yeah, I miss dirt all the time.
Well,
we have dirt. There's dirt around, but there's no mud.
But we don't have dirt like we did when we were like
kids. There's sandy dirt here.
And it was like dirt. And it would rain and there'd be mud and you could step in the
mud's
mud.
One thing. And trust me, I just filmed the dad video recently. There's dirt out there. I rubbed it all over my face.
Yeah, I know. You gotta go like find it. It's different. It's not like
it's right up the street. It's up. It's even in our backyard.
I know, but dirt here is different. Like when you go to
it's sandy because it's the desert. We live in the desert.
I think it's because it's dry. I think it's like if you go to Yosemite and after it's rained, there's mud.
Yeah, that's mud.
Like our Sturbridge Village. I liked that dirt.
That's mud.
There was like mud and
that's what I'm craving right now is mud.
Grass.
Because of these fires that have been happening here in California, I know it's bad and it's horrible and I'm smelling this destruction, but when I smell the smoke, it smells good.
I mean, it's kind of. It also
smells like a campfire.
It smells a little different.
I smelled it again last night. I thought these things were done by now.
No, it's still burning.
Do you know what the percent of it being contained is?
I think it's 62. It was at 65, and I think it went down to 62.
Last week it was like 50.
Yeah, it's still they're getting it under control, but I think it's getting a little out of control tonight because the wind is like picking up.
Yeah.
So
that's not a joy.
I like
burning stuff is a joy for some people, but
I had a joy when
fire is fun.
First discovered Mount Wilson. Speaking of the fire, and I went up there and I was like, oh my god, there's actually like a forest up here, like pine trees, and it smells like the woods. And also, it was cool up there. Like I must have found it in like
temperature is like 20 degrees different up there.
So you can go up there in like October, and it feels like the fall.
There's probably gonna start being snow around Halloween up there.
Not that.
It snows earlier than I thought out
here. Up there, but that's still early. It takes a while for it to get cold up there.
You know,
the tallest part is only like 8,000.
You know, it's not a joy. Not trick or treating this year.
No,
we're not gonna be trick or treat. Seth and I have gone trick or treating. I'm 39. What are you? 37 or 8?
Yeah,
just turned 38. We've gone trick or treating every year of our lives since like we started at like whatever 4 or 5 or whatever. I have not got. There was one year I didn't go trick or treating because I flew back from Bora Bora with my girlfriend. It was really a bummer. I don't count that though because I ate some of your trick or treat candy and I said trick or treat.
I missed a year when I was a teenager. I think.
Yeah, maybe I was sick at one point, but like I didn't purposely miss a year ever. I did say trick or treat when I walked in the house, so I could say I went trick or treating, and then I ate some of your candy.
This is like neurosis.
Well, yeah,
pedantic.
It counts for me. So this is the first year California's not doing trick or treating because Corona. Obviously, I don't think anyone should go trick or treating this year because it's naughty germs out there. But I'm going to go to Paul's house, our friend, and knock on his door, sit with a mask on. He'll have a mask on. Say trick or treat, and he'll hand me a piece of candy, and I can say I went trick or treating.
I'll tell you another joy.
Because I need to go until I'm 40. Next year's the last year. I can't break it now.
Oh, yeah.
That's why that's not joy. I need to be joyous for 40 years, and then I can be a miserable old person. I need joy for 40 years straight.
One thing that why can't my voice be as powerful as yours?
Because you're not as annoying as me.
Even when I tried, it doesn't hit the edge.
That's the thing. One thing that I don't think is a joy is listening
so
to me.
deeper.
I don't like hearing my
bass.
voice.
It's the bass in your voice. That's why.
But it's not even. I sound like this. I sound like a chainsaw. It's like.
When we were filming with Peter,
Yeah.
the third act,
Yeah.
he was micing us, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're a little soft spoken, so I'm gonna turn up your." He always did it.
Yeah, you are soft
And like
spoken.
you're just like.
Yeah,
hitting
I'm
the
loud
mic.
and annoying.
And then when I shot with Charlene, Peter did the sound, and he's like, "Oh, that's right, you're soft spoken." So I brought this mic, and he remembered.
Oh yeah, audio
that,
guys remember.
That's how I sound. I was like,
audio
my
guys
God.
have often said to me they have to turn me down
Really?
because my normal speaking is just bellows out.
Yeah.
Which I don't like about myself. I'm like, oh, I'm just this. When I see myself, in my view of myself, it's basically the Tasmanian devil spinning around, and you hear, that's me.
Devil. I had a thing for the Tasmanian devil. You just reminded me. I used to love him.
Yeah, you had the
I had
Taz
a
shirt.
t-shirt,
You had the
dude.
Taz shirt.
And then there was that
super
game, I think,
trashy
on
shirt.
on
Looney Tunes shirts. Oh man.
On Game Gear, there was that Taz game. for a
Yeah,
while.
that
I
was fun.
really into that game.
I think it was just Tasmania or whatever.
And then I was gonna say another joy is because you reminded me when you said something. I don't remember.
Game Boy was a joy for me.
A joy
and
for-
Game Gear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm nostalgic for Game Gear.
I was playing that Game Boy recently, playing Tetris, and that was nostalgic.
That's a joy. I gave Seth a Game Boy Light, a very rare video game handheld system. The first light up Game Boy that only came out in Japan. Before Game Boy Color and SP, all of them.
Thank you.
Very rare.
I made good use of it. I'm gonna take it on the plane next time.
Never sell that. Sell it to me if
I
you
don't
do.
sell any of that stuff. You're the one that gets rid of everything.
I was gonna sell it until you said you wanted it.
Another
Motocross Maniacs, is that what you said you were playing?
No, Tetris.
Oh, Motocross Maniacs is a super
I
good
got like
game.
134 lines.
Wow. You're going to...
Another joy was when you had that
It looks like you're grabbing your dinkus.
No.
Every time you pull on your jeans,
just playing
it
with
looks
the-
like you're like just dingling
I'm
around.
playing with a flap.
You can't play with your flap on camera. You look like a weirdo. It's just... This is natural.
Another joy for me was when we took your new station wagon Audi that you had bought in like 2012.
Oh, yeah.
And we
That
drove
was when
to
I was
Seattle.
successful.
I felt pure happiness and joy. Like
That was
being
one
in
of the
that
best road
car,
trips we had.
Feeling secure and safe in that car, not thinking it was going to break down. And me and you and Paul, and we were like, we'd go to restaurants on the way out. But I remember specifically.
Also, tell them about the great entertainment setup that we had in that car.
Oh, yeah, and we had the TV strapped
We,
to the headset.
we often do this. We
rest
did it recently. If you guys watched the live
with
streams,
the PlayStation.
we have a Superhouse channel called Superhouse where we live stream. We just drove to Las Vegas recently.
And it was like playing the game like
We
this.
often take a 17-inch TV and strap it to the back of the
Often.
driver's seat. So whoever's in the back has a TV in front of them, and you bring the PlayStation 4, and you got to trick the electronic system in the car to get the PlayStation and the TV to turn on because it's pulling
But
a lot
that
of power.
trip was good because then we went up to Seattle.
We
and
played
it was, like,
PlayStation.
fall
We got
up there.
donuts.
It was, like,
That was such a good trip. We went to the Twin Peaks water
we went to
fountain.
Twin Peaks, and we got. And we went to.
Oh, we went to the
hotel
hot tub.
room.
We stayed in the Twin Peaks hotel.
The hotel that was
the one that's on
exterior.
the one that's on the top, the exterior Twin Peaks hotel. It's on the top of the waterfall.
And then
me,
there
Paul,
was
and
a
Seth
hot
stayed in-
tub
We
in
used
the
the hot
room.
tub.
A jacuzzi tub or whatever, and it had
That was a lover's tub. There's three guys were sitting in.
A real working fireplace in that place. Remember?
That was such a good trip.
That was a.
Didn't we extend the
great
trip? Didn't we stay later?
trip. I
That
don't
we wanted to?
remember.
Oh no, we stayed in the hotel. We weren't planning on staying in the hotel. Then we decided to go stay there. It's
and then
pretty
Paul,
expensive.
Like, booked it, and that was like, wow, Paul's iPhone can do anything. And I remember thinking,
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
he got a cheap hotel because he could go online from his phone in the car. And at that time, it was still kind of like a novel.
You
thing
didn't have
to
a
me.
cell phone, I don't think, at that point.
No, it did. I had the.
Did you?
The round backed.
Oh, Apple phone?
Apple phone.
The Apple, like the iPhone 3.
I think it was a 3.
You had the 3. If it was 2012, you were like always 4 phones behind.
It was that black one you guys gave.
The iPhone came out in
the one you
2007.
guys ruined on me.
So the iPhone 4 was out then. So Paul probably had an iPhone 4.
Yeah.
You had the 3.
And so just him being able to do that, and then we went to Kurt Cobain's house and we moshed.
Oh yeah,
outside.
we went in front of Kurt Cobain's house and we just moshed
That was all
to
a
Nirvana.
joy, that whole trip.
That was super fun. We was like idiots. People drove by. All the locals were like, "Oh God, more loser tourists are here, moshing in front of Kurt Cobain's house."
I don't think they.
And the lawyer who owns the house is rolling his eyes in there.
I don't think they saw that very often.
Maybe not. They probably saw like teens taking pictures in front of it.
Yeah.
And the rich lawyer guy who lives in there now, who always rolls his eyes at all the fans that come by, probably hated us.
I like that trip. That whole trip was a joy.
Yeah, that was fun.
Paul had.
We gotta do that
disgusting
again.
Farts ever created.
Paul. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's also.
Because he ate that jerky.
When one of our friends
They don't make that anymore.
said that she
realized it's toxic.
One of our friends said she would date you over all three of us. We're like, who would you date? And we didn't know who she would pick. And we always bother her with this. And she's like, oh my God, you idiots. And she picked you. We couldn't believe it.
I was happy that night. That was another joy. I was a single man for many years coming at that point. Many years coming.
Not anymore. Now I'm the Cheffid.
Yep.
New Cheffid is a freaking weasel. Nathan over here. I can't. You've been with Helen for 3 years.
Cheffid is synonymous with being a bachelor.
Yeah, I like how I associate Cheffid with lousiness.
Cheffid is synonymous with great
sadness, loneliness, and
marvels,
hunger.
Revolution.
Well, you know why? Because for so long, you would always say, Cheffid, when something would go wrong.
Yeah, because Cheffid is the...
And Cheffid, for so long, was the guy who was...
Oh, no. We have to cut a commercial break. Oh, the producers cut us off again. The producer's been sneaky today.
The producer only likes 12 minutes exactly being recorded at once.
He's strict about those commercial breaks. I don't know if the producer is even a man or a woman.
I'll never know. They're always hiding back there behind all those wires and cables.
Could be other. Could be being of other solar systems.
I was going to say, it could be an alien creature. I mean, who else would assign themselves and associate themselves with this out-of-worldly
Who else would have seen
podcast?
this as a lucrative enterprise?
An alien who's either a genius or really stupid. You be the judge.
Anyway, Cheffid is not synonymous with being single.
Not anymore. He used to be. Cheffid was synonymous with hunger and loneliness.
Cheffid is
and broke.
Cheffid is synonymous with fascination and intrigue.
Well, Cheffid is also associated.
Beauty.
What Cheffid is if you watch Youth Large, our Adult Swim pilot on this channel, right? Do you put this on the
became like
that is
persona.
Cheffid, a guy who's just a free spirit who's out there and says aliens are sending me radio waves and they're trying to communicate with you. Remember when you used to ride around at night?
That was a joy too.
Seth used to go.
That show.
That was a real joy. I'd love to do that again. Seth went out at night on his bicycle because he said the moon rays were strongest.
No, I didn't say that.
That is the thing that I associate with Cheffid.
I said the cosmic rays.
Whatever. You said
the moon.
But because the moon was so bright, it was sending cosmic rays.
No, moon or not.
And then you said, I really think aliens were talking to me last night. This is when he used to sleep in his van in the driveway.
It doesn't matter.
And he was breathing in all those. Yes, it does matter.
It's nothing to do with sleeping in a van.
It sure does. Because the fumes here.
Van, room, tent.
Because there's no gasoline fumes in this house,
no
in your bed.
Yeah, gas.
Because they can't afford gas. There was gas fumes in there.
I had the
and there's also asbestos in that thing, probably.
Air in that van. I remember coming into the house when I first moved back into an apartment, and the air was just stuffy and like gross.
This is also when you'd say you walk in the house and you'd be like, "Oh, the Wi-Fi is too much in here."
No, that's Jared.
Jared, and you agreed.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Because, like, you're closer
to the... You can't feel Wi-Fi.
No, you can't, but you also can't feel the cosmic rays. But they're there.
And you can't feel the aliens communicating you. And you can't feel the cosmic rays. So what are you talking about? You're like, I can tell they're communicating me.
I'm saying the cosmic rays are real.
I know they're real. I come from another dimension. I haven't told you this yet.
No, they're really real.
I'm not making a joke. I am another being. It's in disguise.
And that's what I was collecting, not moonlight. I was collecting cosmic rays. And it does make sense because there are less people out, and I am soaking up.
So you don't get the cosmic rays if you're under a roof?
Yeah, you do. You get
you're still in the cosmos.
When you're out in the open sky.
It sounds like
the roof bounces some of them off.
It sounds like a thing. It's like, I like to believe this, so I'm going to go do it.
No. Cosmic Rays. That's Carl Sagan. He talks about it. Episode something 4 or 7. And
Yeah, the episode you'll never be able to find. They'll go find that one.
What is it called? A Personal Voyage?
I don't know.
Space-Time Voyage? No, that's the new one.
Well, that's what I associate with Shepard. All these hooby-booby thoughts. I like the hooby-booby thoughts, but that's just what I always associate with Shepard. It's a weird cosmic guy.
4-wheel drive is a joy for me.
4-wheel drive is a super joy. I'm getting a dirt bike. I've been saving my money for the past 6 months, and I'm gonna try to buy a dirt bike early next year.
I feel joy from dirt bikes. You know, I feel joy.
Would you buy, if someone said you can have a dirt bike or a 4-wheeler for
I'd
free?
probably take the 4-wheeler.
Would you take the 4-wheeler?
Because you know what I was actually.
That's what
just gonna
Bob
tell you?
wants. Bob says he wants a 4-wheeler. It's
Bob
because you
is
guys.
huge.
It's because you guys drive these trucks.
Because Bob is huge.
Yeah,
he needs a 4-wheeler
Yeah.
to support his tall body.
Yeah.
If he's on a dirt bike, he's gonna dwarf it.
Yeah,
He needs a big 4x4 one.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I was gonna say,
he just needs a small Geo Metro, and he can sit on top of it.
Cut the roof off.
Yeah.
And you know what I was gonna say was, in the barn where Mom and Dad used to work. Remember David?
The smell of the horse stuff.
David had that too.
Horses are a
I'll tell you
joy for
another
me.
Joy I have. I sniff my flax meal in the morning now because I realize it smells like the horse feed.
Oh really?
It smells like when you used to go in the feed room.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I can sniff it, and it's like a portion of the feed room smell like that.
Wow.
I think there must have been flax in some of their food.
You know, well, I like the joy of, you know, horses' necks are like huge. Holding a horse's neck like this, if its horse's head was over your shoulder, and now like this, and I could feel the warmth of the horse's neck on both of my forearms. Yeah. That is a joy for me, and it's so soft. And I put my cheek against it. That was, I loved. There was horses I would just like hug, and they just let me do that. It was so nice. They're so majestic.
I want to be like around more animals and like have like a farm, or like, not a farm, but like
I do want to have
like a goat,
a farm,
and some chickens, and grow tomatoes and.
That's what I want. Ever since I played Minecraft, it's funny that like that's what it took.
But Helen wants to do that too.
Play Minecraft? I'll show her how to do it. It's super fun. It's super easy. You gotta get the shaders like me.
Wait a minute. Now I didn't tell you what I was saying. So in the barn there was that dirt bike. Remember David had that dirt bike? I used to sit on that dirt bike and just pretend I was riding it all the time.
Yeah.
And I just. That dirt bike, I think it was a Honda XR80.
An 80, a small one.
81 or 82 year.
Oh, year. What's the engine size?
80cc.
Yeah.
It was
80cc,
that or
that's what I mean.
cc. It was small.
Yeah.
And I remember like always wanting that dirt bike. So I've looked online at them, you know, to see like, and I feel like I'm pretty sure that's
you could probably get one for $100.
But those other kids had those dirt bikes in that barn that was across the way before they tore it down.
Yeah.
And I used to sit on those too. And one time, I think I might have been with you. And
when we lied to those kids and told them that we had dirt bikes too, and they believed us.
I pull started the 3-wheeler or something, and it started. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And I turned it off real quick because like, I thought Mom and Dad were gonna kill us for like looking at the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember just the feeling of being on, because Dad took me on a loop once around the front parking lot.
Yeah.
And just the feeling of that.
Was it
dirt
just one
bike
speed,
or
did Dad shift?
I think he just went slow, like I was in a loop.
But he knew how to drive a motorcycle?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know
Dad.
Yeah, but Dad, I can never picture Dad on a motorcycle ever and even know how to operate it. I guess it's the same thing as a manual car, but
he knows how.
That's crazy to think of Dad riding a dirt bike.
And he took me on a loop, but just the feeling and the thought of like, oh, these tires can like get through the mud for me and carry.
Yeah, there's a fascination with
thinking
dirt
back about
bikes.
that, like, is a joyful feeling.
Remember when we went up to New Hampshire with Jared and everybody,
Yeah.
and we rode our friends, the girls' dirt bikes?
Yeah.
Though that was one of the most fun trips I've ever had. We were in
Those
the
are
woods
pancakes.
all day. That was so fun. I miss when we were our 20s and we just go on these trips with all our friends. It was like guys and girls, and
That
you
was
just
one
go.
of the last ones
You rented
that
a house.
Did like that. We didn't do that stuff very much
No,
beyond.
I still have a picture on my computer of us sitting on one of the 4-wheelers, Jared and Zach, and we were just getting covered in. Didn't something break? One of the 4-wheels
one of the
break?
fans broke on the because they were liquid.
And it was her
cooled.
dad's dirt bikes, right?
Yeah.
And then she brings all her friends, all these guys up, and then they break
But
one.
it was
It's
not
like,
our
he's probably
fault.
annoyed by
It wasn't
that.
our fault. Yeah, maybe. But like this, I think the fuse went on that fan, and that fan kept. It was liquid cooled, so it needed the fan to cool the radiator. But when you rode, it kept cool.
Yeah.
But when you stopped and.
Oh, he's good. Stop. That's good for me. I'm full throttle anyways. Yeah. I don't need to slow down. That was so much fun. And that's what I've been craving recently. And I'm thinking, like, it would be kind of nice to move somewhere else right now. Especially now that I'm like, I'm not old or anything, but like I'm 39. And I think I've worked so hard and I always break my back doing stuff, working and editing and filming and whatever, physically and mentally breaking myself. I'm like, I just want to sit in some nature, sniff some wind and feel some dirt and have like a dirt bike and play outside because I've been depriving myself.
Come with me to Yosemite.
I wanted to. I was going to talk to you about that today. Helen texted me. I was like, I didn't even know he was going.
Oh, she did.
She said, you should go to Yosemite with your brother. I was like, what? He's going? I would 100% go there.
I said something to you. I was like, I might go, and I even said, I did.
No, 2 weeks ago, I said we should go somewhere in like next week when I'm done with these videos.
I told you something about Yosemite.
I will 100% go to Yosemite.
Well,
I have to go outside. I went to Yosemite with Colleen a while ago, and we, at night, you know the tunnel, one of the tunnels you go through when you go into the park?
maybe.
After you go through one of the tunnels, there's like you can see the people like rock climbing on that big face and they're camping on the wall overnight.
I know what you mean.
Right there, if you look up, the Milky Way is incredibly bright.
Everywhere.
Huh?
You can see it anywhere there.
No, well, yeah, but that spot where we were, it was so dark. It was so incredibly bright. You could take a photo. I did it with this camera. I took a photo with this camera of the sky. And it's so short, and you can see it. You can see. I saw probably like 80 shooting stars. Yeah. In like the matter of minutes.
I saw
it was incredible.
Milky Way when I was in Joshua Tree.
Oh really?
You can see
it's that bright there.
It's dark there. It's pretty dark.
I mean, that's what I mean. The sky's that bright. Wow.
Well, we're running out of time.
There's so many joys to talk about.
I'm trying to think of like another joy to end on, but I've kind of.
I know a joy that you have is on Halloween, which is coming up. You like to watch Ichabod Crane and eat your apple pie.
You know another joy? I love to sniff.
You like sniffing?
The smell of the candy in that bag. You
know,
the
like candy corn? The candy corn?
In the bag.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all the candy together.
I have realized throughout this conversation that many of mine, and maybe some of yours too, joys relate to food.
Food and sniffing.
Candy kind of, like desserts and stuff.
It's always a scent or flavor for me.
I love scents. I also grew up on like French toast and pancakes and waffles. So
our mom is a baker for sure. She made tons of food and she always made really good breakfasts. Like elaborate breakfast with muffins, eggs, pancakes, waffles, juice.
Too. I'm like a sugar.
She made so much stuff. Remember the Sunday morning breakfasts were always like a literal feast?
Yeah.
I have a Sunday morning breakfast was like associated with tons of food. That was awesome. Sniffing is a thing for me. My number one song for my dad character in a music video is about a guy enjoying the scent of a woman's perfume, and he feels guilty because it's not his wife's perfume. I love smelling girls' perfume. Brad and I.
Well, you better figure out your last joy because the producer says we're about to run out of time.
I would say, what was this stuff called, Brad? If you're watching, it was a.
Oh, that Sephora scent?
No, it was.
Oh, I know what you're talking
body
about.
something.
Victoria's Secret.
Love body.
No,
Love spell. Love spell.
Oh, yeah.
Love spell. Victoria's Secret scent. Brad and I were obsessed. We could smell it from a mile away. We'd say to girls. It was really
popular for like 2 years.
It's like Santal, what you're wearing now.
I'm not wearing Santal.
That was the 1999.
I'm wearing something from the far reaches of the English coast.
Well, I got my Le Beau. We filmed a thing for Yell the other day recently, Seth and I, and where the thing was we filmed was a fragrance place called Le Beau, which Seth never told me. Le Beau, whatever. I got not the big bottle. I got the full bottle instead of the sample. That's a joy for me, having that. A million samples in one bottle that I can smell.
And my joy that I'm thinking of is school clothes and thinking about being able to wear that winter coat that I end up getting, whatever it may be, and wearing it in England and enjoying the coziness inside it while it's cool. And then Helen and I go home and have a fire. Yes, this episode is full of interruptions. Well, that's too bad.
Oops, that's not a joy.
I was saying the joy is like putting on that cozy coat and going home and enjoying the warmth of that coat while I'm out, and it's got a hood, so I can feel very
such a simple pleasure. Something that you should just have.
But that is a joy, like to feel like cozy in a coat like that, and then
to not feel miserable is a joy.
And have a fire in Helen's apartment and have
those fires in her apartment. I will miss that for sure. Her apartment with her fireplace, that was so nice.
Well, you can also just go there.
Yeah.
With me. Or visit for a portion of it or whatever.
I could, maybe.
Although it's kind of heinous to sort of travel just for a short time now.
I know. Right now, I can't. I have so much stuff.
Well, anyway, we're ending on joys here. So
hope it was a joy for you to watch this. Sorry it's been so long since there's been an episode.
But hope you did enjoy this episode.
This is a super long one for you.
Yeah, nice and long. Well, that's it. Theme of joy accomplished.
Next week, misery.
No. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.